business because you're a knower and not a learner. And then comes, well, if I'm in the industry, the question is, what's your position in the industry? Key issue. That's something you can do about. And so Porter then goes on and talks about competitive advantage. He says, well, how can you get competitive advantage? Cost structure. Cost structure, you better be low-cost world producer. Because in all probability, there's nothing from a technology point of view that you have that your competitors can't have. So what we like is differentiation, a non-price value. How do we differentiate ourselves from someone else? Lifestyle, experience, emotion. Well, we looked at a different kind of differentiation than what most people think. And Warren Bennett says interesting thing to say about this thing of competitive advantage. The key to gaining competitive advantage will be the ability of leaders to create an adaptive learning environment that encourages the development of intellectual capital. Now, if I look at that, what does that say? It says that my competitive advantage is not based on my Harley brand. My competitive advantage is not based on my technology. My competitive advantage is based on people. And as a consequence, we adopted the feeling that we recognize that our people are our only sustainable competitive advantage. And good people are volunteers in your organization. They can express the law 2 feet anytime they want to. Because most good people can get more money somewhere else if they're only driven by the money factor. And by the way, good people who are driven by the money factor don't fit into good people in my category. Because all they are is they're hired guns for the highest price. So using that as a philosophy, we said, why don't we compete on employee commitment? Why don't we get this employee workforce that we have to be the best in the world? And if we're going to do that, it has huge leadership implications. Because we tended to be somewhat of a top-down command and control organization. We had done a number of things that started to provide information to more people and get more people involved. But it was not an approach that we just said, this is what it's going to be. We've got to go. And it's interesting, when organizations make decisions to change the culture, it's a top-down command and control decision in the beginning. In other words, leadership sanctions this kind of behavior. So, what does that mean? It means leaders are responsible for the operating environment that people walk into every day. How does someone feel when they walk through the door? I know how they feel when they see the boss walking around with his head down. Or when all she can talk about is how tough it is. They put fear in the organization. They don't allow people to have aspirations. And that's what people really want. They want hope that things can get better because of us. So then we look at leadership and say, it's not a human being. And it's not being the fount of all wisdom, the world's greatest problem solver, and the only one responsible for results. My example, I thought I was the world's best problem solver when it came to running that general accounting department. And what did I find out when this one individual had the courage to look up at me and say, don't you have enough to do? Too many times we as leaders walk around and try and solve everyone's problems. And we don't look back and say, why did they have the problem in the first place? Did they have that problem because we didn't care about building competencies within our organization? That we were just training people to do limited skills job? And then all of a sudden, we're in a position where we got to change, and we don't have the people to change. So we have to go outside, hire someone new, and what happens? to the morale inside the business. Why wasn't it me? Did we ever look at that person and say, it wasn't you because my experience? Most times, nah. They know they're not good enough. Do we have a system that doesn't provide an evaluation system, but an effectiveness system? A system that doesn't focus on saying you are good or bad, but focuses on how you can be more effective. And some people say, oh, Rich, you play with semantics. No. I play with words that are meaningful to the individual, not with broad generalizations as much as possible. So what is leadership then? Leadership is a process in which people work together. Whoa. Leadership is a process. It's not an individual. Where people work together, they don't work in silos. A process in